If you worry, you don't have to worry. And if you don't worry, you have to worry. If you want your life to be successful, you will not let yourself do certain things because you're just no good at them. Once you get that picture down, then you can find the paths wherever the paths are. You're open-minded. The Holy Grail of Investing. It's 3 pages long, and it explains basically this important thing, because when that epiphany happened to me and how I would do it, it changed everything. And it's so important for the average person who's listening. And let me explain why that is. Because the average person who's listening, too many people, think that they can go into this very difficult zero-sum game of betting against the consensus and be right. You know what I mean? In other words, investor says, I'm going to go in the markets, I'm going to make money.
Betting against the consensus and be right.
Right, because the consensus is built into the price. Okay? That's what's the, so think of it as like going to a horse race and there's handicaps. Okay? You're not going to pick the best horse and you're not going to pick the best company. A terrible company can be a better investment than a terrific company. A terrible company could be a better investment, just like the terrible horse can be a better investment, because the odds that are changing, like you go into that becomes the long shot. But because the long shot is going to pay off 25-1, right? If he comes in, you could just as likely bet on the long shot as the leader, and it's going to be equally likely that you're going to make money, right? Otherwise the market would be doing the opposite. Well, the market is like that, right? In other words, if everybody believes that something's going to be terrific, okay, then everybody's betting on it, and its price is high. So it's not what's best necessarily. It's what's best relative to what's in the price, what's discounted. You know, everybody crashes, and then you're faced with that crash. And you either have an epiphany or you don't. You either walk off the field and say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, and you give up on that, going after your audacious goals, or you gain really humility. You know, how do you feel that you're going to be wrong? And so I think then that whole notion is, you know, to come back with the finding the smartest people I could find who disagree with me. Also, I'm in the investment management business that you have to bet against the consensus. Otherwise you can't make money because it's in the price. And you have to bet against the consensus and be right. Or as an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. I had to bet against the consensus and be right. And so to gain that humility was the thing. So you either get off the field or you learn, right? The greatest tragedy of mankind, or the greatest tragedy of individuals who together make up mankind in their dealing with each other, is they have bottled up in their heads wrong opinions that they don't know how to stress test, because they think if it's in their heads, it's right, if they have an opinion. And it's so easy to get around that if you can think about, how do I go beyond that? So the reason I'm saying that is I love partnerships in which there's a back and forth and you knock things around and you get to the right answer, where there's open-mindedness and learning at the same time as there's the assertiveness as you're trying to figure things out together. In all relationships, in one way or another, you have to find out how you're going to make decisions. There are going to be agreements and disagreements, and you have to have the art of thoughtful disagreement. Now, people find their domains differently. Maybe somebody says, oh, okay, I'll take care of these things and you take care of that. I don't know. Some people, you know, the traditional household might say, okay, I'll take care of making the money out, and the man goes out and he makes money in the world. And then when woman says, I'll take care of the kids, we're not there anymore. But each role, I'm trying to say, in some way, you have to find out how to do the art of thoughtful disagreement. And it makes sense. And then also knowing what's good, what you're good at, and what you're not good at. It's a good thing to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. Meditation is the biggest gift that I can give anyone. And I would say more than anything, it is whatever reason for success I've had. because it allows one, back to the two U's, I'll clarify. What I mean is that in your mind, we think, what do you want? And the reality is, when you look at the neuroscience and psychology, that there are different parts of your brain that want different things. And so in the simplest sense, there is the logical part of your brain that you're conscious of, it's called the conscious, and you think you're being logical and you want to make those decisions. And then there's the subliminal, below the limbic system, part of the brain, which is the emotional, and it's not as conscious to you, but it has more of an influence on you than really the logical one. And so they're not aligned. And so when you're experiencing that pain, or let's say the ego, right, there were two main things. You got an ego barrier and a blind spot barrier. If you can get past your ego barrier and you get past your blind spot barrier, you can accomplish anything, because you also know that you don't have to do everything, you don't have to figure it out yourself. You can take in from other people the different ways to approach things in the best possible way. And so the realization that we all are really struggling with ourselves, and to think which is in control. Meditation helps to deal with the alignment of those two things, because both are valuable. In other words, intuition, imagination, the things we really love come from our subliminal us's, right? Our needs, whatever they may be. They come from here, that subliminal. They may be valuable. They may be damaging. You don't know the difference. And so when they come up and you're looking at those with your logical mind and you can align those things, you're probably in good shape. If you can do that alignment between the subliminal and the logical, and you can do that with other people, so that you can triangulate with other people and say, does that make sense? And get alignment. That alignment is the path to the future, because you only have to know what the best things to do are. You don't have to have them all come up from your head. And for God's sakes, don't be overly opinionated, because just because you have that opinion, it doesn't mean it's true. So that's where the two U's and the alignment really is so important.
Give me a couple things that I can do to get more out of a minute.
First of all, if you do make your passion and your work the same thing, then it's great, right? Because your passion, whatever it might be, you're a painter or you're an entrepreneur or whatever that is, and you find that more enjoyable than going to a ball game, let's say, then that becomes a passionate thing. That's one thing. Second, to know how to work with people who can do things really well to get the most leverage out of people, okay? Third, how do you get yourself really, what are the right work habits? Anyway, there's a whole bunch of those kinds of things where how do I, what you say, how do I get it done without me doing it? Who's the best to do it, and how do I get it? And all of a sudden you open yourself to all different possibilities of how you can do that, right? No time. Struggle well, or tough love. Okay, I put those words together because that exemplifies the fact that people don't think they go together. And so if you start to realize struggling well is what will get you what you want, okay, rather than avoiding struggle, that's what I'm trying to convey. And so if you realize that, then you will go to the struggle. You won't be averse to the struggle. And you will think, and then under that in the book, I wrote all these different ways of what it means to struggle well, okay? How you have thoughtful disagreement, how you listen to maybe you're not good at that or not, how you learn, how you navigate all the ways through that so that you get stronger. Because if you don't struggle, you won't get stronger, okay? So struggling well, go above it, okay, struggling well, a big element is to go above your struggle, just like you did. You look back and say, okay, am I struggling well, rather than be in it and doing those things. So there are a lot of different ways of how to struggle well. But if you know, okay, that struggling is a good thing. Okay, if you want to be strong, it's a good thing. If you worry, you don't have to worry. And if you don't worry, you have to worry. Okay? Because what I mean is, if you're worrying about what can go wrong, chances are you will create the protections against that thing going wrong, and therefore that's good. And if you're not worrying about the things that are going to go wrong, then they'll probably, the things you never expect are going to come and hit you. Okay? And so it sounds counterintuitive. If you worry, you don't have to worry. And if you don't worry, you better worry. But what it means is that process of, okay, go to the thing, go to it, and enjoy it. View these things as puzzles. Your personality will change. You'll enjoy it, okay? Because life is a puzzle. It's a going through the jungle.
You must alter the paradigm if you desire to achieve improved results. Here is a simple lesson. We've got to learn how to make decisions. And most people don't know how to make decisions. This is not a statement of theory. This is a fact. I was doing this when I was cleaning floors. No education. I didn't know how to run a business. This is powerful stuff. That's why successful people make decisions so fast. They know what they want. Let those lines represent levels of vibration. Every frequency is connected to the one above and the one below. They're all connected. There's no line of demarcation where one frequency stops and another starts. They're all connected and they're all together. Think of this. That's my phone. That represents my phone. This represents your phone. If I want to talk to you on your phone, I've got to get on your frequency. The second I'm on your frequency, you and I are connected. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. If I dial your number, boom, like that, I'm connected to you. Makes no difference where you are. I could take a picture here, I could hit send, and simultaneous with me hitting it, you've got it. There's a great lesson here for us. We seem to have a basic understanding of this. I think what I'm saying here, everyone in the room understands this when we're using our phones. However, when it comes to life, we get lost. We don't seem to understand it. Well, let's try and understand it with respect to decisions. We operate on frequency. My voice is being amplified on a particular frequency. You and I think on frequencies. Thought is energy. Do you know your thoughts are the most potent form of energy there is? Your thought would make the laser beam look like a toy. You'll have a friend a long ways away from you, and you're thinking about them a lot, and damn if the phone doesn't ring, it's them. You see, you're thinking, your thoughts activated cells in their brain that got them thinking of you, and they phoned you. We do this all the time, okay? Now, let's suppose this is the frequency that you're thinking on. If that's the frequency you're thinking on, that's going to dictate the results that you get. The results you get are nothing but the manifestation of your own thinking. We become what we think about. That is the one point that every great leader has agreed on. They've disagreed in virtually every other idea, but that one, we become what we think about. Now let's clearly understand, nothing is created or destroyed. All science and all theology teach that. All the ideas, it's all the knowledge there ever was or ever will be is omnipresent. It's all here. We didn't have to get it. We've already got it. What we got to do is tune into it. So let's say that's where we want to go. This is where I am. That's where I want to go. How do I get there? Well, I'll say I'm going to do that. This is where the average person is thinking. You can relate to that. I'm going to do that as soon as the kids are out of school. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to start my own business as soon as I get the money. And you know, you do that, and pretty soon the decision fades, and then the goal fades. Why? Well, you didn't get the money, so you couldn't do it. Problem was, didn't have the money. You talk to anybody that's high in finance, and they'll tell you the money is never the problem. Ideas are the problem. You got the right idea, you'll always find the money. Well, you see, we're thinking down here on this frequency. Your mind and your thoughts are down here on this frequency. What you want is up here on a higher frequency. You cannot get what you want up there while your thoughts are down here. Your mind and thoughts must focus on the same frequency as what you want. If you want it, it's already here. And you make a decision, it's got to be a committed decision. You say, I'm doing that. Now, the second you make a committed decision, everything starts to change. You begin to think and act like the person you want to become. You stop thinking down there, you're thinking up here now. You're thinking on a higher frequency. Want is the only prerequisite for making a decision. Doesn't matter whether you have the money. Do you really want it? If you really want it, you will get it. But you've got to really want it. Yet you also have to understand that everything you need is here. But you've got to be specific. You could be a waiter. Somebody leaves you a nice tip. You got more money. That's not it. You got to be specific how much more money. You know exactly what you want. Yet you don't have to know where it's going to come from. You do not have to understand all the basic principles between sending the picture to the person on the other side of the world for it to get there. All you have to do is know how to do it. Want is the only prerequisite for making a decision. That is so important, you should write it down. Write it somewhere that you're going to see it often. Maybe get a sign and put it up in your house. This is such powerful information, you'd think it would be taught in all schools. The truth is it's not. It's rather sad because it can be, but it's not. You only have to know what you want. It doesn't matter whether you've got the money. That makes no difference. It doesn't matter whether you've got the resources. That doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter if you know the right people. That doesn't make any difference. Now, this sounds so preposterous to a person that's never studied this. Listen, the money is here. You know that song, Love is in the Air? You know the song? Well, change the lyrics. The money's in the air. It is. When you're in harmony with it, you will never stop it flowing to you. Money goes where it's invited, and it stays where it's welcome. Listen to most people. The way they talk about money, you think it was the worst stuff in the world. I get so sick of it. I just never have enough money. Well, they're getting very angry. Why don't you change your attitude? Now, you see, that really sounds stupid. Here they are, they're in need of money, and somebody says, change your attitude. They don't even know what attitude is. Yet it sounds like we need so much more than attitude change, but really, that's all I changed. So you've got to understand what attitude is. See, there's a power flowing to and through you, Daisy. It's flowing right into your consciousness. It has no form. It's a clear, unadulterated power, and as it flows into your conscious mind, you have the ability to make out of it anything you want. And you know something? I don't know if you know what you want, but you are a persistent individual. You are naturally persistent. You're genetically designed that way. We can do anything. We've got the faculties to do the job. Most of us are going by what we hear, see, smell, taste, touch. But your lessons come from your inside world, not outside, inside. And you have to use your higher faculties. Perception, the will, reason, imagination, memory, intuition. Want is the only prerequisite for making a decision. You've got to get this, burn this into your mind. You don't even have to understand this in any depth. Just accept it. If you really want it, that's all you need. You don't need the money. You don't need to know how you're going to get it. You don't need to know any of that stuff. But you've got to really want it. You've done this. You've done this in different times, not really understanding what you've done. Look at this. Paradigms in cybernetics. Anybody that's read Psycho-Cybernetics was written by Napoleon Hill. It is so good. Cybernetics is the science of control and communication in the animal and some machines. Cybernetic controls your thermostat, or the thermostat controls the house. The cybernetic system's in the thermostat. It'll change the temperature of the house. It'll turn the heat on, turn it off, turn the air on, turn it off. Automatically, when you deviate from the set goal, goals maybe to have the house at 69 or 70, it'll hold it at that. If somebody leaves the door open and it gets too hot or too cold, the thermostat will shift it. It'll change the air conditioning or the furnace. It's all done automatic. Well, your paradigm is like a thermostat. It's like a cybernetic system. Paradigms in cybernetics are both control systems. They operate essentially on the same principle. Both maintain a definite course of action and will not deviate from the course that has been established. Well, most people's paradigm has them working toward a bad end. Most people's paradigm has them working toward debt. Most people's paradigm has them working towards dumb jobs. You must alter the paradigm if you desire to achieve improved results. A company operates on a paradigm. A country operates on a paradigm. It's called culture. You have a culture in your family. The family has a paradigm. Family operates a certain way. Well, this is something the family always does. And if one of the kids wants to go off, what the hell are you doing? We've always done this. It's a family. Oh. Let me let you in on a secret, Dad. I'm changing the paradigm. You got to be strong, but if you're going to be strong, you got to be aware. Awareness is power. We're going to become aware. School focuses on the intellect, the degree. Be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm. Always be under construction, always. Should never be satisfied with where you are. When I was a little kid, Grandma always told me I should be satisfied. Grandma was wrong. She was like an angel of God, a dear little old woman, but she was wrong. Your results should always be under construction. You always want to be improving them. Now you got to ask, are you ready to change?